Oh hey, my name is Alex, and this is Sharing the Sawdust. This is a mini-series dedicated to game design and my process as I go from start to finish creating a brand new game from scratch. Now, in the last episode, I talked a lot about how I came into game design and what I learned from my process of building out Shuffle Pong, my first game that combined shuffleboard and beer pong. Now, in the next videos, including this one, I will be tackling how I create a new game. And this new one, while it is in my head, I'm working towards creating different variations to then bring into prototyping and playtesting with my friends. Now, in order to build a brainstorm, we must tackle it as a whole. So, without further ado, let's get into that. You're probably thinking, oh, I'm so excited to watch Alex start sketching. Well, guess what? You're gonna have to wait because we've got two very important things to talk about before we even start putting pen to paper, okay? And that's building the brainstorm. Not just brainstorming, but building it. Now, what's up first, you might ask? Boom, user research. We want to understand who our users are and what their problems and what their joys are when it comes to game design. For me, personally, it's me and my friends, okay? It's not that deep of a dive into user research, and that's okay for this. It's a personal project. Back off. What did I learn from talking to me and my friends about games? Well, guess what? We live in Minnesota. We like to play a lot of sports, and we also like to play games that involve a lot of coordination. But guess what? You can't play cornhole indoors, okay? Indoors, cornhole, dangerous, not fun. So first up, boom, we want indoor interaction, okay? We want to have fun indoors, but we also want to do it in, guess what? A safe to play way, where we're not going to be breaking grandma's vase, okay? We don't want that to happen. So that's our first thing, identifying the user problem or the joy that we can expand upon. Next up, you might be thinking, what other pillar is there? Guess what? It's frickin' boom, market research, okay? We want to understand what are we currently buying as a friend group that brings joy to us, but maybe also what is limiting us from enjoying that joy as well. Maybe it's high prices, maybe it's the production of the quality, maybe it's just life in general. I don't know. But what we can do by finding that out is look on different websites or just do little store walks too. I like to look on Amazon, not that I like Amazon, but because boom, they have a bunch of reviews on there. You can read about current games on the market. You can say, what are people buying? And also, what are they rating it? That's very helpful for someone who's a startup company that cannot conduct a lot of user research all at once. So these two pair together really nicely. Another one for the small little baby Kickstarters. It's Kickstarter, okay? I said that twice, but you get it. It's where people go to have their dreams created. That's where I wanted to go with Shuffle Pong for a bit, but then I decided not to. But on Kickstarter, see you later, you get to see so much more. You get to see a lot of original ideas, and that really helps kind of ground you in the foundation of what games are being created. So I always like to look at it as what is someone else doing that I can use to inspire me in my ideation process. So without further ado, based on those two things, only user research survived, but we'll be moving forward with these two identifiers for what we want to make the game about, and then also based on what I've seen on Kickstarter about what makes a successful indoor game. So let's jump into actually ideating. You're welcome. All right, so here is the reveal of the game for the first time ever. The elevator pitch for this idea is a bocce ball variation with elements of shuffleboard and a little bit of lawn bowling thrown in there. Your goal for your team is to get your pieces as close to the target as possible. Now, the unique thing here that makes it different from normal bocce ball is that both the pieces and the target that you're aiming for have magnets in them, which means if you're accurate enough with your slide, toss, roll, whatever you want to do with it, and it lands directly under the center of the target, the piece will then get pulled up into it, scoring you more points than you would by simply just touching the tower. Now, this idea came to me while I was working on Shuffle Pong and trying to play test at a lot of different locations. I wasn't always able to bring my 8-foot folding table to every single event I went to, which led me to struggle with trying to play the game on a variety of different table sizes. And thus, I ran into the problem and also ran into an idea of could I make a game that can fit on any table, can be played anywhere on any flat surface? And I started thinking. And I wanted to use existing ideas, like I've said before, in user and market research. And I stumbled onto Bocce Ball, something that I've played many times before but never really thought about, and realized that Bocce Ball is truly a multifaceted sport that can be played anywhere, on any surface, any environment. And I wanted to take that idea and run with it in a way that can be played indoors in a safe and fun way. And here we are. All right, let's talk final deliverables. So in my journey of sketching and ideating, I realized that there were two main components of what makes up Shuffle Bocce. That's what we're calling it right now. Not finalized, do not worry. And those two components were both the Polino, which is the functional tower of where the puck gets sucked up into potentially, but then also what the balls are, essentially the pucks. So by doing so, I wanted to create a variation of those two components to kind of mix and match for the next stage of prototyping. So here's what I came up with. We have the puck, the cube, and what I'm currently calling the mash. Now, the puck is simply what it is. It's a puck. It both has a positive and negative side depending on which polarity you flip the magnet inside. And now the cube, on the other hand, is a cube. It has a lot of different sides. So I'm thinking maybe you mess around with a lot of different magnets in different places in there, but also magnets cost a lot of money, so we'll consider different things when prototyping. And lastly, we have the mash, and this is intentionally meant to be an uneven balance of one side being a hexagon and the other side being more of a disc shape. And this is what I pulled inspiration from lawn bowling, in which you're able to kind of roll something and know which side it's going to fall onto, which I think is really cool for magnets interacting, because in a conventional game of shuffleboard, you always slide it. But what if in this game you could both have the option to either slide or roll? Think about it, okay? Think about it. So that's kind of the first concepts of different variations of pucks, or balls, as you might call them. Next up, we have the actual Polino, or the towers, as I'm calling them. So we've got the silo. It is simply a grain silo. It is the most straightforward. It can hold pucks straight up in a single cylinder. It's simple and efficient, as I said in my sketches. Now, the UFO, on the other hand, has 5 different holes. This is difficult to sketch because I've got no idea how it stands up. But while I was sketching it, I was like, that kind of looks like a UFO. And you know what UFOs do? They suck things up. Could be a really fun theme. Just an initial concept, though. We'll see how the users like it when we play test. Then we've got the stacks. I don't know what this was gonna look like, but it's essentially just like a bunch of chimneys where it's similar to the UFO, where you have a lot of different options. However, each stack will be set to a different height. So maybe you can store more in another, and maybe it's not like this. Maybe it goes the other way. So we'll kind of see what happens once we dive into prototyping and playtesting, but this is the original idea right now. And I'm very excited to enter the next stage of the journey. So let's do it.
We're right here. That's a good yawn. That was a good yawn.